Exxon Mobil Corp. is an American multinational oil and gas corporation headquartered in Irving, Texas. It is the largest direct descendant of John D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil Company, and was formed on November 30, 1999 by the merger of Exxon and Mobil, the world's eighth largest company by revenue. Exxon Mobil is also the fifth largest publicly traded company by market capitalization. The company was ranked No. 6 globally in Forbes Global 2000 list in 2014. Exxon Mobil was the second most profitable company in the Fortune 500 in 2014. Exxon Mobil is the largest of the world's supermajors with daily production of 3.921 million barrels of oil equivalent. In 2008, this was approximately 3% of world production, which is less than several of the largest state-owned petroleum companies. When ranked by oil and gas reserves, it is 14th in the world, with less than 1% of the total. ExxonMobil's reserves were 25.2 billion barrels of oil equivalent at the end of 2013, and the 2007 rates of production were expected to last more than 14 years, with 37 oil refineries in 21 countries constituting a combined daily refining capacity of 6.3 million barrels. ExxonMobil is the largest refiner in the world, a title that was also associated with Standard Oil since its incorporation in 1870. ExxonMobil has been criticized for its slow response to clean-up efforts after the 1989 Exxon Valdez oil spill in Alaska, widely considered to be one of the world's worst oil spills in terms of damage to the environment. ExxonMobil has a history of lobbying for climate change denial and against the idea that global warming is caused by the burning of fossil fuels. The company has also been the target of accusations of improperly dealing with human rights issues, influence on American foreign policy, and its impact on the future of nations. History. ExxonMobil was formed in 1999 by the merger of two major oil companies, Exxon and Mobil. 1870 to 1911, both Exxon and Mobil were descendants of Standard Oil, established by John D. Rockefeller and partners in 1870 as the Standard Oil Company of Ohio. In 1882, it, together with its affiliated companies, was incorporated as the Standard Oil Trust, with Standard Oil Company of New Jersey and Standard Oil Company of New York as its largest companies. The Anglo-American Oil Company was established in the United Kingdom in 1888. In 1890, Standard Oil, together with local ship merchants in Bremen, established Deutsche Amerikanische Petroleum Gesellschaft. In 1891, a sale branch for the Netherlands and Belgium, American Petroleum Company, was established in Rotterdam. At the same year, a sale branch for Italy, Società Italo-Americana per il Petrolio, was established in Venice. The Standard Oil Trust was dissolved under the Sherman Antitrust Act in 1892. However, it re-emerged as the Standard Oil Interests. In 1893, the Chinese and the whole Asian kerosene market was assigned to Standard Oil Company of New York in order to improve trade with the Asian counterparts. In 1898, Standard Oil of New Jersey acquired controlling stake in Imperial Oil of Canada. In 1899, Standard Oil Company of New Jersey became the holding company for the Standard Oil Interests. The anti-monopoly proceedings against the Standard Oil were launched in 1898. The reputation of Standard Oil in the public eye suffered badly after publication of Ida M. Tarbell's classic exposé The History of the Standard Oil Co. in 1904, leading to a growing outcry for the government to take action against the company. By 1911, with public outcry at a climax, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that Standard Oil must be dissolved and split into 34 companies. Two of these companies were Jersey Standard, which eventually became Exxon, and SoCoNy, which eventually became Mobil. Over the next few decades, Jersey Standard and SoCoNy grew significantly. John Dustin Archbold was the first president of Jersey Standard. Archbold was followed by Walter Seateagle in 1917, who made it the largest oil company in the world. In 1919, Jersey Standard acquired a 50% share in Humble Oil and AMP Refining Co., a Texas oil producer. In 1920, it was listed on the New York Stock Exchange. In the following years it acquired or established Tropical Oil Company of Colombia, Standard Oil Company of Venezuela, and Creole Petroleum Company of Venezuela. Henry Clay Folger was head of SoCoNy until 1923, when he was succeeded by Herbert L. Pratt. The growing automotive market inspired the product trademark Mobil Oil, registered by SoCoNy in 1920. After dissolution of Standard Oil, SoCoNy had refining and marketing assets but no production activities. For this reason, SoCoNy purchased a 45% interest in Magnolia Petroleum Co., a major refiner, marketer and pipeline transporter, in 1918. In 1925, Magnolia became wholly owned by SoCoNy. In 1926, SoCoNy purchased General Petroleum Corporation of California. In 1928, SoCoNy joined the Turkish Petroleum Company. In 1931, SoCoNy merged with Vacuum Oil Company, an industry pioneer dating back to 1866, to form SoCoNy Vacuum. In the Asia-Pacific region, Jersey Standard has established through its Dutch subsidiary an exploration and production company Nederlandse Colonial Petroleum Maatschappij. In 1912, in 1922, it found oil in Indonesia, and in 1927, it built a refinery in Sumatra. It had oil production and refineries but no marketing network. SoCoNy Vacuum had Asian marketing outlets supplied remotely from California. In 1933, Jersey Standard and SoCoNy Vacuum merged their interests in the Asia-Pacific region into a 50-50 joint venture. Standard Vacuum Oil Company, or StanVac, operated in 50 countries, from East Africa to New Zealand, before it was dissolved in 1962. In 1924, Jersey Standard and General Motors pooled its tetraethyl-related patents and established the Ethyl Gasoline Corporation. In 1927, Jersey Standard signed a 25 years cooperation agreement with IG Farben for the coal hydrogenation research in the United States. Jersey Standard assumed this cooperation to be beneficial as it believed the United States oil reserves to be exhausted in the near future and that the coal hydrogenation would give an access for producing synthetic fuels. It erected synthetic fuel plants in Bayway, Baton Rouge, and Baytown. The interest in hydrogenation evaporated after discovery of the East Texas oil field. As a part of the cooperation between Jersey Standard and IG Farben, a joint company, Standard-IG Company, was established with Jersey Standard having a stake of 80%. IG Farben transferred rights to the hydrogenation process outside of Germany to the joint venture in exchange of $35 million stake of Jersey Standard shares. In 1930, the joint company established Hydro Patents Company to license the hydrogenation process in the United States. The agreement with IG Farben gave to Jersey Standard access to patents related to polyisobutylene, which assist Jersey Standard to advance in isobutylene polymerization and to produce the first butyl rubber in 1937. As the agreement with IG Farben gave to the German company Avita right of licensing chemical industry patents in the United States, including patent for butyl rubber, Jersey Standard was accused of treason by Senator Harry S. Truman. In 1941, it opened the first commercial synthetic toluene plant. In 1932, Jersey Standard acquired foreign assets of the Pan American Petroleum and Transport Company. In 1937, its assets in Bolivia were nationalized, followed by nationalization of its assets in Mexico in 1938. In 1935, Socony Vacuum Oil opened the huge Mammoth oil port on Staten Island, which had a capacity of handling 250 million gallons of petroleum products a year and could transship oil from ocean-going tankers and river barges. In 1940, Socony Vacuum purchased the Gilmore Oil Company of California, which 1946 was merged with its another subsidiary, General Petroleum Corporation. In 1947, Jersey Standard and Royal Dutch Shell formed a joint venture Nederlands Aardely Maatschappij BV for oil and gas exploration and production in the Netherlands. In 1948, Jersey Standard and Socony Vacuum acquired interests in the Arab American Oil Company. In 1955, Socony Vacuum became Exxon Mobil Oil Company. In 1959, Magnolia Petroleum Company, General Petroleum Corporation, and Mobil Producing Company were merged to form the Mobil Oil Company, a wholly owned subsidiary of Socony Mobil. In 1966, Socony Mobil Oil Company became the Mobil Oil Corporation. Humble Oil became a wholly owned subsidiary of Jersey Standard and was reorganized into the United States Marketing Division of Jersey Standard in 1959. In 1967, Humble Oil purchased all remaining signal stations from Standard Oil Company of California. In 1969, Humble Oil opened a new refinery in Benicia, California. In Libya, Jersey Standard made its first major oil discovery in 1959. Mobil Chemical Company was established in 1960 and Exxon Chemical Company in 1965. In 1965, Jersey Standard started to acquire oil assets through its affiliate Carter Oil, for managing the Midwest and Eastern coal assets in the United States. The Monterey Coal Company was established in 1969. Carter Oil focused on the developing synthetic fuels from coal. In 1966, it started to develop the coal liquefaction process called the Exxon donor solvent process. In April 1980, Exxon opened a 250-ton-per-day pilot plant in Baytown, Texas. The plant was closed and dismantled in 1982. In 1967, Mobil acquired a 28% strategic stake in the German fuel chain Aral. In late 1960s, Jersey Standard Task Force was looking for projects 30 years in the future. In April 1973, Exxon founded Solar Power Corporation, a wholly owned subsidiary for manufacturing of terrestrial photovoltaic cells. After 1980's oil glut, Exxon's internal report projected that solar would not become viable until 2012 or 2013. Consequently, Exxon sold Solar Power Corporation in 1984. In 1974 to 1994, also Mobil developed solar energy through Mobil Tyco Solar Energy Corporation, its joint venture with Tyco Laboratories. In late 1960s, Jersey Standard entered into the nuclear industry. In 1969, it created a subsidiary, Jersey Nuclear Company, for manufacturing and marketing of uranium fuel, which was to be fabricated from uranium concentrates mined by the Mineral Department of Humble Oil. In 1970, Jersey Nuclear opened a nuclear fuel manufacturing facility, now owned by Raver, in Richland, Washington. In 1986, Exxon Nuclear was sold to Craftwick Union, a nuclear arm of Siemens. The company started surface mining of uranium ore in Converse County, Wyoming in 1970, solution mining in 1972, and underground mining in 1977. Uranium ore processing started in 1972. The facility was closed in 1984. In 1973, Exxon acquired the Ray Point uranium ore processing facility, which was shortly afterwards decommissioned. In 1972, Exxon was unveiled as the new, unified brand name for all former Enco and Esso outlets. At the same time, the company changed its corporate name from Standard Oil of New Jersey to Exxon Corporation, and Humble Oil became Exxon Company, USA. The rebranding came after successful test marketing of the Exxon name under two experimental logos. In the fall and winter of 1971-72, along with the new name, Exxon settled on a rectangular logo using red lettering and blue trim on a white background, similar to the familiar color scheme on the old Enco and Esso logos. Exxon replaced the Esso, Enco, and Humble brands in the United States on January 1, 1973. Due to the oil embargo of 1973, Exxon and Mobil to expand their exploration and production into the North Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, Africa and Asia. Mobil diversified its activities into retail sale by acquiring the parent company of Montgomery Ward and Container Corporation. In 1976, Exxon, through its subsidiary Intercor, entered into partnership with Colombian state-owned company Carbo Coal to start coal mining in Cerrejón. In 1980, Exxon merged its assets in the mineral industry into newly established Exxon Minerals. At the same year, Exxon entered into the oil shale industry by buying a 60% stake in the Colony Shale Oil Project in Colorado, United States, and 50% stake in the Rundle Oil Shale Deposit in Queensland, Australia. On May 2, 1982, Exxon announced the termination of the Colony Shale Oil Project because of low oil prices and increased expenses. Mobil moved its headquarters from New York to Fairfax County, Virginia, in 1987. Exxon sold the Exxon Building, its former headquarters in Rockefeller Center, to a unit of Mitsui Real Estate Development Co., Limited in 1986 for $610 million, and in 1989, moving its headquarters from Manhattan, New York City to the Las Colinas area of Irving, Texas. John Walsh, president of Exxon subsidiary Friendswood Development Company, stated that Exxon left New York because the costs were too high. On March 24, 1989, the Exxon Valdez oil tanker struck Bligh Reef in Prince William Sound, Alaska and spilled more than 11 million U.S. gallons of crude oil. The Exxon Valdez oil spill was the second largest in U.S. history, and in the aftermath of the Exxon Valdez incident, the U.S. Congress passed the Oil Pollution Act of 1990. An initial award of $5 billion USD punitive was reduced to $507.5 million by the U.S. Supreme Court in June 2008, and distributions of this award have commenced. In 1994, Mobil established a subsidiary Megas, which became responsible for its Mobil's natural gas operations in Europe. In 1996, Mobil and British Petroleum Petroleum merged the European refining and marketing of fuels and lubricants businesses. Mobil had 30% stake in fuels and 51% stake in lubricants businesses. In 1998, Exxon and Mobil signed a $73.7 billion merger agreement, forming a new company called Exxon Mobil Corp., the largest oil company and the third largest company in the world. This was the largest corporate merge at the time. At the time of the merge, Exxon was the world's largest energy company, while Mobil was the second largest oil and gas company in the United States. The merger announcement followed shortly after merger of British Petroleum and Amoco, which was the largest industrial merger at the time. Formerly, Mobil was bought by Exxon. Mobil shareholders received 1.32 Exxon's share for each Mobil share. As a result, the former Mobil shareholders receives about 30% in the merged company, while the stake of former Exxon's shareholders was about 70%. The head of Exxon, Lee Raymond, remained the chairman and chief executive of the new company, and Mobil chief executive Lucio Noto became vice chairman. The merger of Exxon and Mobil was unique in American history because it reunited the two largest companies of Standard Oil Trust. The merger was approved by the European Commission on September 29, 1999, and by the United States Federal Trade Commission on November 30, 1999. As a condition for the Exxon and Mobil merger, the European Commission ordered to dissolve the Mobil's partnership with BP, as also to sell its stake in Aral. As a result, BP acquired all fuels assets, 2 base oil plants, and a substantial part of the joint venture's finished lubricants business, while Exxon Mobil acquired other base oil plants and a part of the finished lubricants business. The stake in Aral was sold to Vigo OEL, later acquired by BP. The European Commission also demanded divesting of Mobil's Megas and Exxon's 25% stake in the German gas transmission company TUSEngis. Megas was acquired by Duke Energy and the stake in TUSEngis was acquired by RWE. The company also divested Exxon's aviation fuel business to BP and Mobil certain pipeline capacity servicing Gatwick Airport. The Federal Trade Commission required to sell 2,431 gas stations in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, California, Texas, and Guam. In addition, Exxon Mobil should sell its Benicia refinery in California, terminal operations in Boston, the Washington, D.C. area and Guam, interest in the Colonial Pipeline, Mobil's interest in the Trans-Alaska Pipeline System, Exxon's jet turbine oil business, and give up the option to buy Tosco Corporation gas stations. The Benicia refinery and 340 Exxon-branded stations in California were bought by Valero Energy Corporation in 2000 to present. In 2002, the company sold its stake in the Cerrejón coal mine in Colombia, and copper mining business in Chile. At the same time, it renewed its interest in oil shale by developing the Exxon Mobil electrofrac in situ extraction process. In 2014, the Bureau of Land Management approved the research and development project in Rio Blanco County, Colorado. However, in November 2015, the company relinquished its federal research, development and demonstration lease. In 2009, Exxon Mobil phased out coal mining by selling its last operational coal mine in the United States. In 2008, Exxon Mobil started to phase out from the United States direct-served retail market by selling its service stations. The usage of Exxon and Mobil brands was franchised to the new new owners. In 2010, ExxonMobil bought XDO Energy. The company focused on development and production of unconventional resources. In 2011, ExxonMobil started a strategic cooperation with Russian oil company Rosneft to develop the East Prinovo-Zarmelsky field in the Kara Sea and the Tuapse field in the Black Sea. In 2012, ExxonMobil concluded an agreement with Rosneft to assess possibilities to produce tight oil from Barzhenov and Arkhimov formations in western Siberia. Due to international sanctions imposed against Rosneft, ExxonMobil had to wound down its cooperation with Rosneft, bearing a potential loss of up to $1 billion. In 2012, ExxonMobil started a cold methane development in Australia, but withdrew from the project in 2014. In 2012, ExxonMobil confirmed a deal for production and exploration activities in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. In November 2013, ExxonMobil agreed to sell its majority stakes in a Hong Kong-based utility and power storage firm, CLP Limited, for a total of $3.4 billion, to CLP Holdings. In 2014, ExxonMobil had two non-monetary asset swap deals with Lin Energy LLC. In these transactions, ExxonMobil gave to Lin interests in the South Belridge and Hugoton gas fields in the exchange of assets in the Permian Basin in Texas and the Delaware Basin in New Mexico. On October 9, 2014, the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes awarded ExxonMobil $1.6 billion in the case the company had brought against the Venezuelan government. ExxonMobil alleged that the Venezuelan government illegally expropriated its Venezuelan assets in 2007 and paid unfair compensation. Operations. ExxonMobil is the largest non-government-owned company in the energy industry and produces about 3% of the world's oil and about 2% of the world's energy. ExxonMobil is organized functionally into a number of global operating divisions. These divisions are grouped into three categories for reference purposes, though the company also has several ancillary divisions, such as coal and AMP minerals, which are standalone. It also owns hundreds of smaller subsidiaries such as Imperial Oil Limited in Canada and Sea River Maritime, a petroleum shipping company. Upstream based in Houston, Texas. Downstream based in Houston. Chemical division based in Houston, Texas. Upstream. The upstream division dominates the company's cash flow, accounting for approximately 70% of revenue. In 2014, the company had 25.3 billion barrels of oil equivalent proved reserves. In 2013, its reserves replacement ratio was 103%. In the United States, ExxonMobil's petroleum exploration and production activities are concentrated in the Permian Basin, the Bakken Formation, the Woodford Shale, the Caney Shale, and the Gulf of Mexico. In addition, it has gas development activities in the Marcellus Shale, the Utica Shale, the Haynesville Shale, the Barnett Shale, and the Fayetteville Shale, conducted by its subsidiary XDO Energy. As of December 31, 2014, ExxonMobil held 14.6 million acres in the United States, of which 1.7 million acres were offshore, including 1.5 million acres in the Gulf of Mexico. In California, it has together with Shell Oil a joint venture Era Energy LLC. In Canada, the company held 5.4 million acres, including 1 million acre offshore and 0.7 million acres of oil sands. In Argentina, ExxonMobil held 0.9 million acres, Germany 4.9 million acres, the Netherlands 1.5 million acres, Norway 0.4 million acres offshore. and the United Kingdom 0.6 million acres offshore. In Africa, its upstream operations are concentrated in Angola offshore, Chad, Equatorial Guinea offshore, and Nigeria offshore. In addition, it plans to start exploration activities off Liberia and Ivory Coast. It had exploration activities also in Madagascar, but these operations were ended because of unsatisfied results. In Asia, it held 9,000 acres in Azerbaijan, 1.7 million acres in Indonesia, of which 1.3 million acres offshore, 0.7 million acres in Iraq, 0.3 million acres in Kazakhstan, 0.2 million acres in Malaysia, 65,000 acres in Qatar, 10,000 acres in Yemen, 21,000 acres in Thailand, and 81,000 acres in Abu Dhabi. In Russia, Exxon Mobil held 85,000 acres in the Sakhalin I project. Together with Rosneft, it developed 63.6 million acres in Russia, including the East Prinovo-Zarmelsky field. In Australia, Exxon Mobil held 1.7 million acres, including 1.6 million acres offshore. It operates the Longford gas conditioning plant and participates in the development of Gorgon LNG project. In Papua New Guinea, it held 1.1 million acres, including PNG gas project. Downstream, Exxon Mobil markets products around the world under the brands of Exxon Mobil and Esso. Mobil is Exxon Mobil's primary retail gasoline brand in California, Florida, New York, New England, the Great Lakes and the Midwest. Exxon is the primary brand in the rest of the United States, with the highest concentration of retail outlets located in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Texas and in the Mid-Atlantic and southeastern states. Esso is Exxon Mobil's primary gasoline brand worldwide except in Australia and New Zealand, where the Mobil brand is used exclusively. In Colombia, both the Esso and Mobil brands are used. In Japan, Exxon Mobil has a 22% stake in Tony General Seki UK, a refining company. Chemicals. Exxon Mobil Chemical is a petrochemical company which was created by merging Exxon's and Mobil's chemical industries. Its principal products includes basic olefins and aromatics, ethylene glycol, polyethylene, and polypropylene, along with specialty lines such as elastomers, plasticizers, solvents, process fluids, oxo alcohols and adhesive resins. The company also produces synthetic lubricant base stocks as well as lubricant additives, propylene packaging films and catalysts. The company was an industry leader in metallocene catalyst technology to make unique polymers with improved performance. Exxon Mobil is the largest producer of butyl rubber. Infineum, a joint venture with Royal Dutch Shell, is manufacturing and marketing crankcase lubricant additives, fuel additives, and specialty lubricant additives, as well as automatic transmission fluids, gear oils, and industrial oils.